You're clearly someone who's on their own growth journey.
Hmm.
So I think diving into the revised edition of Living in the Light is going to be really interesting for you.
Absolutely.
It's fascinating to see how Shakti Gawain's own journey is reflected in the updates she made.
Yeah, we have both the original from 1986
Okay.
and the revised edition from 1998.
Okay.
Um, this gives us a unique perspective on how her thinking evolved over time.
Yeah.
You mentioned being curious about the revised edition.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a complete overhaul,
Okay.
but more of a refinement based on her continued experiences.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
So in the preface,
Yeah.
she talks about wrestling with updating a classic
Hmm.
and wanting to honor the original work while also acknowledging that her understanding has deepened.
Right.
She even mentions being tempted to write an entirely new book.
Right. And she points to her other works like The Path of Transformation
Okay.
and Creating True Prosperity for those who want to see that full evolution.
Okay.
What stands out to you in this preface?
Honestly, I'm struck by her honesty about feeling a bit simplistic or grandiose in the
Mhm.
original. It's refreshing.
Mhm.
It shows her growth and how she's not afraid to admit she's learned more along the way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That humility is a key theme we'll see throughout the book.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's dive into Gawain's personal journey, which starts with her childhood skepticism towards spirituality.
Right. But she had this persistent desire to understand the meaning and purpose of life.
Yeah.
Even though she grew up in a family that really prized logic and reason,
Mm-hmm.
almost like a seed that was waiting for the right conditions to sprout.
That's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
You mentioned being curious about what makes the revised edition different.
Right.
Well, it seems her early skepticism eventually gave way to embracing the magic she'd always sensed.
Okay.
A pivotal emotional crisis at age 14 seems to have been the catalyst.
Well, wait, what happened?
Well, she describes this intense heartbreak that triggered a period of existential despair.
Mm.
She started questioning the point of it all. If everything we strive for ultimately fades away.
Wow, I can definitely relate to that feeling of emptiness.
Yeah, and she even traces some of her later relationship patterns back to her parents' divorce when she was just 2 years old, showing how much early experiences can shape us.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It makes you think about your own formative
It
experiences.
really does.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how that divorce forced her to develop self-sufficiency and responsibility early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yet her mother modeled fearlessness and a love of exploration,
Mm-hmm.
taking her on extensive travels throughout her childhood,
Okay.
exposing her to different cultures and perspectives.
Yeah.
Think about how those travels both mirrored and fueled her inner journey.
You're right. It's like those trips planted the seeds for her spiritual awakening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She describes being hooked on consciousness when she returned to the States from her travels.
Mm-hmm.
It became her primary focus,
Yeah.
even over external goals like career or relationships,
Mm.
which I think speaks to the intensity of her experience.
It's a bold choice, especially in a culture that often prioritizes those external achievements.
Absolutely. And speaking of bold choices, there's this intriguing detail about her mother introducing her to the Silva mind control course.
Okay.
This method, popular in the 70s, uses visualization and affirmation to tap into subconscious potential.
Whoa, mind control.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
It really piqued Gawain's interest because it hinted at the magic she'd always sensed, but couldn't quite grasp.
Mm-hmm.
This course became her entry point into the world of creative visualization, a technique that had a profound impact on her life.
Wow.
It's through visualization that she starts to understand that she has the power to shape her own reality.
That's incredible. Did
Yeah.
that lead to her writing her first book?
It did.
Okay.
Creative visualization became a surprise bestseller.
Wow.
It's almost like the universe was working through her,
Mm.
even when she had doubts about her own expertise.
Mm.
This theme of channeling creative energy is central to her message.
I love that. But her journey wasn't without its challenges, right?
Definitely not.
Okay.
She honestly shares her struggles with workaholism and the difficulty of finding a life partner. It
Mm-hmm.
reminds us that personal growth isn't a straight line to perfection.
Yeah.
There are bumps along the way,
Right.
and those bumps often hold valuable lessons.
Yeah.
It took her a while to recognize that she wasn't truly ready for that committed partnership she'd been visualizing.
Mm-hmm.
She needed to do some deep inner work first.
So how did she go about doing that?
Through therapy
Mm-hmm.
and a technique called voice dialogue.
Okay, I've heard of that, but I don't really understand it.
It was developed by Hal and Sidra Stone,
Hmm.
and helped her understand that we all have multiple selves within us,
Okay.
each with its own voice and perspective.
Hmm.
It's like having a committee in your head,
Yeah.
and they don't always agree
Right.
through voice dialogue.
Okay.
She gained greater self-awareness
Yeah.
and began to integrate those different aspects of herself.
So it's about becoming aware of those different voices and understanding how they influence us.
Exactly. And, this is one of those areas where we see a key difference between the original and revised editions.
Okay.
In the revised edition, Gawain's writing reflects a greater understanding of the complexities of life and relationships.
It sounds like she's really integrating her own experiences into her work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of integration, she finally found a fulfilling partnership after doing this inner work.
Mm.
It's like a testament to the transformative power of self-awareness.
That's amazing. It really sets the stage for exploring the core principles of living in the light.
Yes, and I think you'll find that her insights are just as relevant today as they were when she first wrote the book.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into those principles.
Awesome.
So what's the first one?
So we've seen Gawain's journey from skeptic to spiritual seeker.
Right.
Now let's dive into how she thinks you can achieve that transformation through the 6 core principles of living in the light.
Okay.
Hit me with principle number 1.
Okay.
Principle number 1 is all about connecting with your higher power within.
Mm-hmm.
Gawain emphasizes that this isn't about religion or dogma.
Okay.
It's about recognizing and trusting the universal energy that flows through all of us,
Yeah.
acknowledging our inherent divinity and connection to something bigger.
Okay, I can get behind that. It's about tapping into that inner wisdom, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gawain even suggests using meditation to cultivate a deeper connection with that inner source.
Okay.
And this leads perfectly into the second principle, embracing intuition.
Honestly, I've always struggled with trusting my gut.
Yeah.
So this whole intuition as guidance thing is really making me think,
Mhm.
how does Gawain suggest we actually do that?
She challenges us to reframe intuition.
Okay.
It's not some mystical force,
Mm-hmm.
but a valid form of inner intelligence we can all tap into.
Right.
One of the ways she suggests we do that
Okay.
is by paying attention to those subtle nudges and promptings, even if they don't seem logical at first.
So, like, if I suddenly feel like I need to call a friend out of the blue, I should just go for it.
Exactly. It might seem random,
Yeah.
but there could be a deeper reason you're feeling that urge.
Okay.
She also talks about the importance of checking in with your intuition regularly, almost like cultivating a relationship with it.
So it's about building that trust, that connection.
Yeah,
Like any relationship, it takes time and effort.
precisely.
Right.
And remember those multiple selves we talked about earlier?
Yes.
Well, they come into play here too.
Okay.
When making a decision, Gawain suggests allowing all those voices to express themselves without judgment,
Mm-hmm.
and then tuning in to see what your intuition is saying
Okay.
beneath all that chatter.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like trying to hear a whisper in a noisy room.
Yeah.
You have to quiet the noise to really listen.
Such a great analogy.
Thanks.
Now, are you ready for principle number 3?
Bring it on.
It's the idea of the world as our mirror.
Ooh, that sounds deep.
It is,
Okay.
think about a recurring challenge you face.
Mm-hmm.
Gawain would say it's reflecting something within you.
So if I'm constantly having communication issues in my relationships, it might be because I'm not communicating clearly with myself.
Exactly.
Wow.
The external world becomes a feedback mechanism,
Okay.
offering clues
Yeah.
about what we need to heal or transform within ourselves.
Right.
It's not just about seeing the negative reflections, though.
Okay.
Gawain also encourages us to acknowledge the positive aspects of our lives as mirrors of our inner selves.
Okay. That makes sense. So if I'm surrounded by loving, supportive people,
Mm-hmm.
it reflects my own capacity for love and support.
We got it.
Yeah.
It's a powerful concept that reminds us we're constantly creating our reality,
Yeah.
both the good and the bad.
Right.
Now, on to principle number 4,
Okay.
integrating spirit and form.
Okay.
Gawain reminds us that we're not just spiritual beings having a human experience.
Mm.
We also have physical needs and desires.
Oh, right. So it's about finding that balance between our spiritual aspirations
Yeah.
and the realities of everyday life.
Exactly. She cautions against getting so caught up in spiritual ideals that we neglect our human needs.
Yeah.
True spiritual growth isn't about denying our humanness.
Right.
It's about embracing it.
Okay.
Which brings us to principle number 5,
Okay. What is it?
recognizing and integrating the masculine and feminine energies within us.
I've heard about that before. Is this like the yin and yang concept?
It's similar.
Okay.
Gawain uses the terms masculine and feminine not in a strictly gendered sense,
Okay.
but as archetypal energies that exist within each of us. She describes masculine energy as outward-focused and action-oriented,
Okay.
while feminine energy is inward-focused and receptive.
So we need both to be whole.
Yes, both are essential for balance.
Okay.
And she points out that many of us have been conditioned to overemphasize one energy at the expense of the other.
I can see that. Like someone super focused on work and achievement might struggle with vulnerability and allowing themselves to receive.
Exactly. And someone overly identified with feminine energy might find it difficult to set boundaries or assert themselves in the world.
This is making me think about my own tendencies.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready for the final principle. What is it?
Shifting from fear and control to surrender and trust.
Okay.
Gawain emphasizes letting go of our need to micromanage our lives and trusting that the universe has our best interests at heart.
Right.
It's about embracing the power of feminine energy to be receptive to intuitive guidance.
That's a big one. Surrendering control can be so difficult, especially in a culture that prizes certainty and predictability.
It definitely can be a challenge, but she argues that it's the key to unlocking our true potential and creating a more harmonious life.
Okay, I can see how all these principles build on each other. It's like a roadmap for personal transformation. But how do we actually put these principles into practice in our daily lives?
That's where part 2 of the book comes in.
Okay.
Gawain gets down to the nitty-gritty of applying these principles to specific areas of life, like relationships, work, money, and health.
Whoa, she covers a lot of ground.
She does. And her insights are consistently thought-provoking.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity.
Yeah.
What does she have to say about relationships? Okay, spill the tea on relationships.
Okay.
What insights does Gawain offer in Living in the Light?
Well, she really emphasizes the importance of the relationship we have with ourselves as the foundation for all other relationships. You can't expect others to fulfill you if you're not taking responsibility for your own well-being.
So self-love and self-care are non-negotiable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're the starting point for healthy connections with others. Gawain also talks about clear communication and setting boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable.
Okay.
And get this.
What?
She challenges the idea of romantic love as the ultimate source of happiness.
Wait, what? That's a pretty bold statement.
Right. It's like she's encouraging us to rethink some of our deeply ingrained beliefs about love and relationships.
Okay, I'm really curious now.
Yeah.
What does she say about romantic love?
She sees falling in love as this intense experience of connecting with the universe within ourselves. It's like we're momentarily experiencing our own wholeness and projecting that onto the other person.
So it's more about recognizing that wholeness within ourselves rather than seeking it from someone else.
Exactly.
Okay.
While that experience can be beautiful and transformative,
Right.
she cautions against becoming dependent on another person for our happiness. She advocates for a love affair with life as the true path to fulfillment.
I love that.
Yeah.
A love affair with life.
Yeah.
So much more empowering than waiting for Prince Charming to show up.
Right. And it ties back to that idea of trusting the universe and surrendering control.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, this is making me rethink my whole approach to relationships. What other areas does Gawain offer guidance on?
Well, you mentioned being interested in the practical applications of these principles.
Yes.
She dives into specific areas like parenting, work, money, and even health.
Whoa, she covers a lot of ground.
She does.
Wow.
And her insights are consistently thought-provoking.
Okay.
For example, when it comes to parenting, she suggests that we recognize children as powerful spiritual beings who chose us as their parents.
Okay, I love that perspective.
Yeah.
It shifts the whole dynamic from seeing kids as these blank slates we need to mold to recognizing their inherent wisdom and agency.
Right.
Yep.
She encourages treating them with respect,
Okay.
allowing them to express themselves authentically, and setting a positive example by living in alignment with our own intuition.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Kids are always watching and learning from us, whether we realize it or not.
Exactly.
Right.
She also reminds us that our children often mirror back to us our own unresolved issues,
Yeah.
which can be both challenging and illuminating.
So true. It's like they hold up a mirror to our own inner world, forcing us to confront those things we might be trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Okay, what about work?
Okay.
What does Gawain have to say about finding fulfillment in our careers?
She challenges that traditional separation between work and play.
Okay.
She believes work can be just as fulfilling and joyful as play when we're aligned with our true purpose.
Right.
Remember that channel analogy we talked about earlier?
Yes.
Our unique way of expressing creativity and purpose in the world.
Exactly.
Well, she talks about the importance of discovering and honoring that channel in our work.
Okay.
She believes the universe works through us in unique ways. And when we tap into that flow, work becomes an expression of our authentic selves.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where our passions and skills intersect with a genuine need in the world?
You got it.
Okay.
She even gives inspiring examples of people who made major career shifts to pursue their passions, proving it's never too late to realign with your true purpose.
Okay. I'm feeling inspired.
Awesome.
What about money?
Okay.
Does she address those financial anxieties we all experience?
She does.
Okay.
And her perspective is really interesting. Gawain sees money as a reflection of the energy flowing through our channel.
Okay.
The more we trust our intuition and follow our passions,
Yeah.
the more abundance we're likely to attract into our lives.
So it's not just about working hard, but also about aligning with our true purpose and trusting the universe to provide.
Yes.
Okay.
She talks about the importance of both outgoing action and receptive energy when it comes to finances. It's not just about hustling and grinding.
Right.
It's also about being open to receiving.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You have to be open to receiving the abundance the universe wants to send your way.
Exactly.
What about health? What are her insights on well-being?
Gawain emphasizes the interconnectedness of our physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being.
Okay.
She sees dis-ease as a message from our bodies, indicating we're out of alignment with our true energy.
So our physical symptoms can be clues to what's going on emotionally and spiritually.
Exactly.
Wow.
She stresses self-assertion, setting healthy boundaries, and paying attention to those subtle signals our bodies are sending us. It's about taking a holistic approach to well-being.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a whole new framework for understanding personal growth and transformation.
You do.
Living in the light is a powerful reminder that we have the power to create the lives we desire.
Absolutely.
It's about aligning with our inner wisdom, trusting the universe, and embracing the journey with all its twists and turns.
I love that.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into Shakti Gawain's Living in the Light.
It has.
I hope our listeners are feeling as inspired as I am to start living more intentionally and authentically.
Me too.
Until next time, keep shining your light.